Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon Over Baseball with your host Bob. We have a bunch of people today. We got Jeff, the Thanos Snappers. We got Matt R, the High Flying Air Bombs, and Peter is the Wisconsin Wolves. Oh, geez, coming off of his what is that? What was that? Is it the minor leagues? What was the name of that league?
The middle leagues.
The middle
Yeah.
leagues.
Watch out. I'm going to snap you away, man. Watch out. Half of us are going to be gone at the end of the
So
season.
Peter just made the playoffs in Matt's league, and then in the middle leagues he just won, which is fantastic. But we're here today because we just released the last draft video and the draft results for everybody. But we like to, as always, break down. We broke down Matt's draft last time, so now we got 4 expert panelists from this year's draft, and we're going to try to break down this draft as well. We'll sort of break down the first round, and then we'll kind of go into the teams. As Kevin, I think, is listening, me and Jeff are drinking bourbon this time. We're drinking Proper 12 by Conor McGregor. So this is an actually bourbon over baseball podcast for Kevin. Let's just go down real quickly. The draft, it went Mike Trout, number 1, no surprise there. Mookie Betts, number 2, no surprise there. Trevor Bauer going 3. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
That was a reach,
I was
but
surprised.
yeah, it's exactly what he wanted, though, so it makes sense. He wanted a 6 control, and he's the best pitcher in.
I don't know. I like Schnell better, personally.
With the
I agree
no
with
double.
you, Bob. Yeah.
I just think he's a 1 through 16 out is a 6. It's just very strong.
I hear you.
Yeah, I like the extra out.
But he went with Trevor Bauer. Actually, obviously, I'm not hating on it. I prefer Snell.
I mean, his big thing, really quick, I'll say, is he tries to go as far into the game with a pitcher as he can, especially a starting pitcher, of course. He's going to be able to do that with Bauer. He'll probably get at least 8 innings out of him every game.
Yeah. The same would have been the case with Snell, which I think Robert was very happy to see Snell on the board. Obviously, none of them wanted DeGrom. I wanted a power batter. I was debating whether to take Yelich or a JD Martinez. I chose Yelich because I think he's a far better player and outfielder. Obviously, Peter did not like that. But, Peter, you went with Max Muncy.
I did. Controversial pick. JD is a better hitter, but at that point I knew that I was going to take Ronald Acuna in the second round. And I didn't want 2+0 outfielders because I knew I was going to snag Castellanos because everyone's afraid of drafting -1. But I knew he was going to be my DH. So,
Side note, what about Castellanos 2019? He's got 55 doubles right now.
It's going to be amazing. It's basically going to be the same sort of chart because he's going to be an on-base 8 again, but he's going to double at like 10.
Yeah, he's going to be
awesome.
a freak.
I will tell you, Peter, in the draft room, Muncy at 6 was considered the jump-up pick. It was surprising all of us, and we kind of thought he went high. But, again, you wanted him in Acuna, so it was happening no matter what.
Yeah, it was between him and JD Martinez, and normally I would take JD over him. I'm shocked JD fell to the second round. He's much better than so many of the hitters picked above him.
I was disappointed he fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure you were.
I hate that he's
I mean, I
team.
thought about
What a
taking
bummer.
Jose Ramirez, but Matt,
Yeah,
I
what a
had to
bummer.
respect Matt.
That's a devastating one, too.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
I think Max Muncy is going to be a crusher. Obviously, I like Jay Martinez, but I liked your idea after talking to you about definitely don't want the 2 outfielders with zeros. I did that by accident and had to go back and get rid of Starling Marte for a better outfield because I only had a 2 outfield.
Yeah.
But next up, obviously, Kevin. I had talked to Kevin picking 7th. He was taking a batter no matter what, and then all of a sudden, Jacob DeGrom is still on the table, and he said, I have to take him. So it threw his whole strategy for a loop because he ended up taking a pitcher second as well. So he had kind of had to change his whole draft strategy going into it.
I'm slightly surprised that he didn't go for Jose there, because that screams a Jose pick for Kevin. But I saw the look in his face, and I don't think he expected to get past 3.
Yeah.
So he took him.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Obviously, Matt, you took Jose. You thought he was the best person in the draft, especially later in the draft. So
After the top 3 batters were gone, for sure.
Where would you have ranked JD, who you then got in the second round? Like, how far behind Jose?
Probably as the next batter, actually, because I would have put JD, and then probably Machado, and then Muncy.
Oof, boy, you cleaned up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your team.
Matt,
We'll discuss your team,
we'll
but
get
I
there.
think you have one of the best teams, Matt.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. So
We'll see.
at the next pick,
Matt, are you watching the Indians game? What just happened?
Puig knocked in a RBI single.
Yeah. Yes.
Sweet. My dad just texted me, and I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, it's 2-0.
Sweet.
so I think at number 9, after researching more, and I know we talked about Trevor Story during our draft going first round or second round, but that might be the reach.
I don't know. I love Trevor Story.
Okay, so I talked to Kevin about this. Look at Carpenter, right? He's a third base plus 3, on base 10.
But he
doubles at 14.
He gets on base at 14, where Trevor Story does it at 9, and he's a speed 20.
He's a speed
And Carpenter 1 to 6 out.
but he's a 1 to
I mean, I like Trevor Story a lot. I knew Dusty had told me he had made his picks beforehand, and he was grabbing them no matter what, because the draft was so deep. If he didn't grab his people, he was going to miss out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind Francisco Lindor. I think those are both awesome eight hitters, or 8 on base hitters. Sorry,
Especially how weak shortstop is.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those guys. I prefer Trevor Story, even though he bombed for me in Matt R's league. Next
I think
up,
that was just bad luck.
well, you were rolling the dice, Matt.
Yeah, it was bad luck.
Justin Verlander went next to Jeff. Just the next best available pitcher. That was your thoughts?
I wanted my 1-2 picks were going to be pitchers.
Okay.
So I knew I think Nola would have been my 11th pick if I thought there was a problem with him getting picked at 14. But looking back, I wish I would have done Nola at 11 and gotten Clevenger.
I like Clevenger a lot.
He won a few
Value-wise,
picks later.
Yeah.
But I got 2 really good pitchers. I wanted Verlander, Nola, or Clevenger, so I got 2 of the 3, I guess.
And then last up was AJ, the former champion. He said he was going to return to his roots. Don't really know what that meant. Still don't know about his team. But he went for a very high defensive center fielder as a leadoff hitter, which obviously I love Lorenzo Cain. I just don't think he's a first-round pick. And then
Grabbed him like 3 rounds too soon.
yeah, and then Francisco Cervelli, again, I think is like probably the second best catcher in the draft, and I love him. Again, probably too soon in all those picks. I would not have grabbed any of those guys.
No.
Yeah.
He went value 1-2, so surprising.
So real quick then, is anybody surprised on anything up in the top range that went out of control early that people didn't think about?
Jake Arrieta getting drafted in the 3rd round.
Oh yeah, by Nick A.
I have no idea
I
what
That's a money
happened there.
saver.
I know he was like one of the cheaper guys at 4 control, but
There's like 10 of those guys.
I know
Or identical.
I'm not too sure.
And actually, going back for a second, I want to correct myself. I was comparing Carpenter and Arenado. If you look,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with the purple on our sheet.
Oh yeah, sorry. Trevor Story's a
yeah,
stud.
But if you look at 460 and 530, there's a 70-point difference, and I'm not sure where that is. Like if you truly look at him, they're
it's just there's a little bit extra field. No, it's not even extra fielding.
no in
Like the
Arenado's one.
singles and speed. I think it's the singles and speed part. Is he faster?
Yeah, he just gets
no,
he
he's also,
he just
Carpenter's
gets less,
faster.
but he gets less
Yeah.
walks, and that's really what it
that's
is.
got to be it. Which is
And he doubles one more higher. I mean,
Yeah,
that's really it. But
that was the reach.
but
That's what I
that's-
meant, not Story.
but
Yeah.
for 70 points that you're saying, it seems a little high for
Yeah,
Nolan.
Kevin got a great pick in the 3rd round with Carpenter.
yeah.
Let me see real quick if I did not like anybody. There were some reaches, like I thought Matt Chapman went a little early, but I love Matt Chapman. I thought Javi Baez was going to go earlier, and I was mad because I was about to grab him in that round.
Ketel Marte. I mean, anytime people are drafting for infield defense, I'm like,
Peter,
ooh.
you have 100% convinced me on this. I do not believe in the infield thing. I simmed a game yesterday. I think there was 1 ground ball in 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it. Just not doing it. I don't even know I'm looking at it.
I do like Jeff picking up Harrison Bader in the 5th. I think that's a stud.
He is so good. Oh my gosh.
The one guy I was mad about was, I don't know when he got picked. Adam Frazier in the 10th by Kevin, a second baseman. I thought he was super good value. I didn't get him, and I really wanted him on my team, so I was a little upset about that. But I don't know. I think it was overall a really good draft. I thought a lot of people reached early on things, but we'll see how it shakes out. One person did grab Shohei Ohtani, which I did not think was going to happen.
And it happened early.
And we're going to talk about him now. So Dom, the Dirty Dagos, is his team. So you'll see him quickly. Again, he's Italian. Not trying to be offensive to anybody here. That was his team name. He took, obviously, Mike Trout over number one. He was debating, when I talked to him privately, between Mike Trout and Jacob deGrom. Obviously, going with Mike Trout, no. I actually thought either one was a good option. So he went Mike Trout, Chris Sale, Corey Kluber. I mean, I think he's got an okay team here.
It's amazing that Sale fell to him.
Yeah, Sale is one of my top pitchers I liked. Let me see real quickly here if I can bring up my other sheet right here. And I'll just go to Dom's team real quick whenever it loads. He's got 10 infield, 4 outfield, 5 catcher. Shohei Ohtani's going to be probably his fourth guy. I don't know. Okay team. Nothing crazy here.
It's pretty balanced, honestly.
He definitely was telling me beforehand people are overvaluing some relievers. So he wanted to save value on the relievers, which, again, it's not a bad team. We'll see how it goes. I
think he's got 3 on-base 6s and an on-base 5. I think the back end of his lineup is going to come back to haunt him.
I agree.
Yeah, so he's got Max Stassi, Ryan Braun, and then Jock Pearson. So he just went. Those guys have power only.
Yep.
Only he's got Villanueva, another power guy. So it's interesting. So he's hoping for charts. If he gets them, those should be fine. I mean, obviously, I love Chris Taylor. That guy's a stud.
Yeah, and he's got a good
Mauer.
Kimbrel's really.
Yeah, but Mauer's an 8.
But he doesn't do anything with his 8. So
yeah.
So he needs to hopefully do stuff with
Trout.
Yeah.
And then Robertson has an okay chart. I mean, Robertson's a really good pick, but he's not going to be,
Yeah, so if he doesn't get charts, he's not scoring.
And with, Kluber and Sale will be fine with his bullpen, but when you get to Ohtani as a 5-inning pitcher, Lugo can go 2, but then after that, I mean, you're probably going to go Lugo 2, hopefully, and then Kimbrel 2, I would assume. But if he has to get to the other relievers, it could get a little dicey.
Yeah, I agree.
He's only really got 2 relievers.
And Lugo's he's just a 2-inning pitch guy. A 4 out there 16. You could still hit off that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we were to draft grade them, this whole team, where would we be at?
Well, I want to real quick before you draft grade them. Do you guys think Shohei Ohtani was worth it, and do you think he's going to produce this year?
No.
I like him as a 4th starter because just like
I just hate
I
700
did
points.
points. I did FanDuel points in my league to calculate ratings for players,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a top 15 batter and a top 20 starter.
Wow. I'm wondering if he's worth 700 points. I love the idea of the card, and I like the charts, but man, dropping 700 points on a 2 cards is pricey.
His hitting card is devastating.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I love the DH, but
and he's fast. He's an 18 speed.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good.
I just a 2 control. I mean, it might be okay in this league just because again the on base is lower than the sets I'm used to in 2000 2001, but that still makes me extraordinarily nervous, especially if we're talking about if he's playing a team that also has a bunch of 6s like Braun that can homer at 15, then it gets scary.
Okay, so what are your guys' thought? I guess A to F.
Are we including minuses and plus?
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I would say pretty average. So I guess
C plus.
Yeah.
I was thinking C plus.
I was gonna say B.
I like the top end of the rotation a lot. I like the power hitting with Trout and Ohtani. Really afraid about depth coming back to hurt him because everyone's got stars.
God, if he's a C plus, then I'm worried about my team. Oh my gosh.
Next up will be Nick A. Obviously taking Mookie Betts, number 2 overall. Great pick. Obviously the controversial Jake Arrieta pick, which was a little odd.
And then Skaggs for no reason.
R.I.P.
And that rotation.
I thought he was taking him because he just died. I'm not really sure. As like a gone too soon. But I like.
Well, he went too soon in the draft too.
Bumgarner I love a lot as a card. Chris Bryant's a good card. Torres is a decent card. He told me he was going to go value with Roberto Perez. I don't mind it for 10 points.
Yeah.
But Brantley I think's good, but I don't.
I love Torres.
Gleyber
Torres
Torres.
is
Oh
a
yeah.
great pick.
And
yeah.
I love the Bellinger pick, but again, that was the second.
Yeah,
pick,
love
wasn't
Bell.
it?
Yeah.
That's I was really hoping to get Bellinger in the 3rd round. That was my
So
target.
it wasn't a stretch.
No, he's
Yeah.
solid. I don't really like Nelson Cruz, even though we were just talking about how his card's his card's similar to Shohei's, but he's so much slower. And then his relief staff is a little odd. He went with that one guy that can do 2 guys that can do 4
You went
innings.
2 with them. Yeah.
I think he's toying around. He's trying it out.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
His rotation too. His rotation's not.
It's bad.
Yeah, but I don't want to go from a Tyler Skaggs at a 2 to Carlos Martinez that's also a 2 just to get 9 innings.
But that's why I think he got Diego Castillo and.
I mean, yeah, those guys are great. I mean,
but they can only really pitch a few innings.
Yeah, and you're gonna pitch him 2 games, so I get the thing. What he shows, his stud is Madison Bumgarner and Jake Arrieta. I mean, Lance Lynn is not that good.
No, those are going to be tough games.
I think it's kind of like in Matt's league, somebody did this, and it was an absolute disaster. People don't really realize that the IP doesn't matter that much if the pitcher's a terrible tier. And these are both tier 5 guys, which is awful. So they're going to get lit up.
Yeah, if he gives up runs, those innings pitch are just dropping right off anyways.
So this is Invader Zimmer's team. I think he did okay his last time out. Again, he just likes to play. A good friend of mine I played bocce with. The one thing I was really weird, so he's got 70 extra points still available, so I think he's probably going to make a mid-season move to maybe upgrade somebody as he realizes what's happening.
Like drop area.
But his infield is a +2. It's very crazy. So this is just what you were talking about with screw infield, but his also catcher's a +5. So it's very odd, a very odd team. I don't know. I mean Chris Bryant is good, but I think
the top, so lineup wise, he can have Brantley lead off, Mookie second, maybe Bellinger third, get Cruz 4, Bryant 5, Torres 6, Scooter 7.
So that's good.
He's got a good lineup.
It's a good lineup. It's just
he's got to outscore everyone.
Oh boy!
But I don't see that lineup really truly outscoring other. I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
In late games.
Well, yeah. Are you going to outscore the guy that's scoring off Jake Arrieta?
Right.
That's what you're trying to do. So I don't know. I'm trying to think. I kind of think this team's a little worse than the team we just saw, but I don't think much worse. I'm gonna go
C minus.
Yeah, I was a C minus.
I said C minus.
Okay.
That's fair.
We'll go into Matt H's team, who I will tell you before this, he's the guy that runs. He runs sequel a lot, so he's always searching. He's the Mighty Muskie Minotaurs. He's a big. He's a big stat guy, and he does very well in every league I've played in him with. He went with a 0 outfield, so don't really know what's going on there. I haven't got to talk to him about that. I don't know why he's got a 0 outfield. It's very scary, and it's got a 5 infield, so I assume that everyone's running, but not stealing because he has Yadier Molina. Let me see. Does he have any? He has no extra points too.
His plan is nobody's going to get on base with his starters.
Yeah,
that's his plan.
That's his play.
His play. I've always seen him. He goes, "I'm spending half or more of my salary on 4 starting pitchers, nothing on relieving, and then just going to do the rest of it and just score the best I can." So he obviously grabbed 1 reliever as Jose Alvarado, but he grabbed Bauer, Kershaw, Kyle Freeland. He told me he wanted all 6s, and then he ended up getting John Lester because there was no more available.
That's super worked out for him. I think he's going to be able to go deep with most of those guys, probably not giving up many runs in the process. And then I think he'll be okay with his relievers. At least he has, Alvarado is a 5, so he's not terrible. And if he's up big, which might happen, because he's got decent hitting, right? He's got some power hitters, and Altuve at 10, and Martinez at...
But so Altuve's a leadoff guy,
right?
So he's not doing anything.
I think he's got 7 guys on base 8 or higher.
I mean, I think that's really good. I think this is...
I liked his late pickup when he got Suarez. Suarez is still on the table, and I was like, is anybody going to grab this guy? He's so strong.
You're right. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, this is a good batting lineup, and he has incredible pitching. Yeah, he did really well, I feel like.
I just really nervous with the zero outfield. Again, if no one gets on base, then who cares? And that's the strategy.
Well, remember, like, guys are going to get on 25% of the time
Yeah.
with his pitchers. All he needs is 2 singles in a row, and then suddenly he's in
the
a
C-speed
whole world of
scoring.
trouble
Yeah.
for the next couple hitters. So I think it's a bold strategy. I'd go A-. I think it's a well put together team. I'm more concerned about the bullpen, so maybe B+, A-.
I'd say B+. I like that.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy because he's got like, so Altuve leads off, let's say, and then he's got like maybe Jose Martinez. No, he's
I'd go. Well, Jose or Duffy. I mean, I think he puts like his pingers, the guys who are going to single or whatever,
got, like, Rhys
on,
Hoskins,
and then Hoskins, Stanton, Suarez.
Those are monsters.
But
and then Martinez 6th, Camargo 7, and then his 2 on-base 6s.
Yeah. I mean, Greg Allen, again, I like Greg Allen just because he's a fast guy, but again, it was funny. So you got Giancarlo Stanton got the +1, and then went Rhys Hoskins -1. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, is that his DH, though? So he might have a +1 out.
No, his DH.
Yeah, his DH is Matt Duffy.
Oh, okay.
It's Duffy it's Duffy.
Let me double check. Let me see if that's what I had. Yeah, I have Matt Duffy as his DH. Has to be. I kept looking at his team. There's a couple teams where I was trying to figure out what their best available person could be. But yeah, it's just an interesting team. But yeah, B+, A-. I think he's gonna do well again. I think if you're facing him, you better hope you didn't have like a B, like a low ranked lineup, because
can you see Ohtani pitching against those 8s? Like that's a game where it'd be real interesting to see how it plays out.
Like even to that point, if Shohei is number 4 and it's going against John Lester is winning that pitching battle like substantially.
Yeah.
So
I think he might struggle against good lineups.
Yeah,
just
if
because
you have a really
as soon
solid
as
lineup.
If he has one bad inning early in a game, he's screwed.
Yep.
Because he's got no bullpen.
Yeah, but I
so
wonder
if the starter starts to lose control, he's done.
But I bet if I know him, he's gonna say, as long as I win 2 out of 3, just how you thought.
That's a smart process. I respect it.
Yeah, you just punt that game and see what happens. So we'll see. Again, he's done very well in the past. He's in the World Series in my 2000-2001 league right now. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, actually, we're going to skip over me because Robert picked 4th in the draft. So we'll pick Robert. And the reason I want to bring up Robert's team real quickly is Robert, the Funko Fanatics, does not have to play Matt in the season, which I told Robert was fantastically lucky because Robert has no 9s and no 10 on-base batters. Don't know what was going on there.
Oh, boy.
He loaded up.
But he's got a good bullpen.
But he has an incredible bullpen.
So Robert is very known, as I've known him for a long time, is always grabbing Billy Wagner, Keith Folk, all the, Trevor Hoffman, Jeff Zimmerman, all the 2000 cards. He loves loading up his bullpen, getting average pitchers, getting to the bullpen early, and just knocking in a few runs. Don't know how that's going to work out, but that's what his strategy is.
Let me give my take there, because that's kind of what I did in this mini season. Now, given I had a team that couldn't score runs, so it didn't matter. But the problem is that if you're giving up runs early, then it's like this problem where should I go to the bullpen? Oh, I should, and then I'm using everybody. Right? So, like, if he can make it work, great. I didn't feel like it worked for me. Like, I'd rather just use my starters, they would be workhorses and get there and then throw in relievers. But the inverse, it's this weird game of who should I start throwing in? Because one thing Kevin always says, and I totally believe it, is you play the best player at any given time, especially when it comes to the bullpen. And at that point, like, I had CC on my team. He's a 3 control, and my relievers are all better than him. So should I have played him 1 inning and then put in my relievers? So it's going to be interesting to see how Robert...
But he's got good starters, too.
That's the but here, is that Blake Snell, Clevenger are incredible, and then...
But then Boris and Corbin are 4s that are 16 outs.
Corbin's great.
Or Burris is 15 out. But either way... I mean, that's great.
And Doolittle is
But then do you even need such a high bullpen if you didn't need it? You know what I mean? Like, if your starters are so good, do you need that much firepower in your back end?
I think so. I think they'll lock down games.
I think he's looking to just give up 1 run at the most a game with that team.
I totally agree.
But this is one where then he doesn't have to worry about his bullpen getting tired. He's got 5 guys that he can rotate in and out every time. Or he has 4 really good ones. Alvarado's useful, though. So, I mean, he can go 7 innings a game with his starters, I would think is his strategy, and then just switch off which relievers he's using.
Mm-hmm.
I think also because he made a switch with his catcher, he actually has 80 points available also to upgrade someone, which he was going to do at some point later on to see what his weak spot is.
It's going to be a bad.
I mean, he definitely went high.
Yeah.
He has an 8 outfield, which is huge, ridiculously huge.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't see him scoring except for like Jesus Aguilar. I mean, unless you're just getting lucky on other people's charts.
I did my simulation against his team just a couple games, and how it worked out.
Because Jeff plays him tonight.
I play Robert tonight, so I'm gonna know really quickly. It was basically those guys getting just home runs off me. That was the only way he was able.
Who was
to score.
Aguilar and who?
It was Aguilar and who was the other one? Let me see. And I think Alex Gordon.
He's got a lot of pop.
I would just throw a mistake pitch, and they would hit a 23, and then it was done. So that's how he's going to score, and if that happens, that's great, because then he's going to be at 3-0 or 3-1, and then the moment Doolittle or Ottavino's coming in, he's shutting down the game, and it's just going to be, it's not going to be fun, as for me, if I think it goes the way I think it's going to go.
So, I mean, I like it, but I actually don't like it. Then who did we just give B+ to Matt H? So
I went A-. I do B+ for this one.
I think he's also a B+.
Yeah, I don't want to rank him higher than Matt because I think Matt seems. I think the funny thing is I think Matt seems better, but also Matt's team head to head would crush this team.
I think he's a solid B. A solid B.
Yeah,
I like the different strategies. Like all 4 teams have had a different strategy.
Absolutely.
So it'll be real interesting to see how that plays out.
So then we go next to my team. So this is the Cleveland Titans. My first pick is the one where I stole Yelich from Peter. If you look at my page, I actually put it in order of what I thought my lineup would be.
Love it.
I guess real quickly here, I went, as Peter knows this beforehand, did not really care about infield, outfield too much. I had 11 infield. I did have a 2 outfield, but I switched out Starling Marte for David Dahl to get +2 more and to increase John Gant to Noah Syndergaard, which I thought was a good move. So I just went for the best available chart and tried to get him as high as I could with the on base. So Peter knows this.
Nice.
Everybody on my team, 15 or higher is doubling. I mean, that's 25% of my rolls, if I ever get it, is I'm on second base. That's a big chart difference. And then I just went for the best available.
30%.
Oh, there you go. So then Brian Mitchell, all I did there was try to save as much value as I could with the pitcher. I mean, 60 points for a 2.
It's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just needed him.
If you're going to have Jeremy Jeffress and Blake Treinen.
And that's what I learned from Matt R's league was the 2 reliever strategy is a little rough because you could tire them both out too fast. You almost need 1 more guy, and I really think 3 is the number now that I'm thinking about this. And then I just picked up my favorite Zach Duke and Fernando Rodney to save me points. Yeah. But you guys can grade my team what you guys thought. I mean, obviously, I went with a lot of Brewers, Peter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good Brewers. I must be talking to you too much.
I think so. And he grabbed a lot of my favorites in Yelich, Trey Turner, Harper, Shaw. Obviously, Machado's great.
I thought you were going to grab Trey Turner before I did. When I saw him still available, I'm like, how I can't pass this guy up.
And Moreland's a great.
I had a debate with Moreland with Jeff. I like Brandon Belt or Mitch Moreland. Obviously, Belt got taken, so I went with. I mean, he's a 17 speed that gets on a 12 double. I mean, that's huge.
Right.
And the doubling triple. A triple's basically a home run in these things, the way I think about it. Clears the bases.
And he gave me an extra little infield for, I guess, I mean, like, for nothing. Yeah. I mean, I didn't really care about the infield at that point. The weird one was me switching to David Dahl. I mean, he's a 6, so I went from an 8 to a 6, but I increased 2 fielding in the outfield. He only has 1 through 3 out, and he gets on second at a 9. I mean, he's a really big chart.
That's a good switch.
And I think with your 3 high control relievers, you can mitigate the Mitchell game a little bit if you only pitch him 3 or 4 innings.
He's coming out real quick. He's on a short leash.
B+, A-, somewhere in there.
I would say A-.
Don't go easy on me, guys.
I mean,
beat me up.
I think that the Trevor Williams, Jack Flaherty they're like Tony Armas Jr. Expos 2001 pennant run because I know that because I had him.
Well, and this is me listening.
He was
to,
incredible.
This is me listening to Peter a lot. I mean, I've really
Yeah.
grown to love the 1 through 16 out guys. I mean, I used to love Brad Radke, but these guys for 400 points just seem like such good value.
Yep. 17,
Yeah,
19.
you took them from me. I was targeting both of them.
I know
I like
Kevin
your
would like
team
Trevor
better than the
Williams.
last team.
It's a great pick.
What'd you say, Matt?
I like your team better than the last team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that Kevin liked Trevor Williams, and he was mad that I took him because he was extremely good value at 410 points. And those guys, like you said about the innings, those guys are 5 inning guys. If they pitch 5 innings, I'm happy because then I can go 2 with like Jeffries, 2 or 3 with him. You know what I mean? Like I can switch it up and I can go Jeffries, Green, and then like Green, Treinen or Blake. I call him the witch. I can't pronounce his last name. And then like back to Blake and Jeffries again for like basically my starters. And I just keep rotating them. I think that's the way to do it.
That's the Dat Boy X strategy.
And he obviously did really well. And then if you're ever winning by a lot or losing by a lot, you throw in Zach Duke or Fernando Rodney. So anyway, that was my strategy.
I think if you played Matt H, who gave him a B+, I think it would be a very good game.
I think Matt would beat me.
Then I think it's a solid B+.
I just don't know if I can get past his 6 pitchers. Like
That's why I think Matt's an A-.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of keeping a track of it here. I think Bob is a B+, and Matt is an A-.
Yeah, Matt's team is just. I think if you have like maybe like 10, 10, 10, 9, you could take on Matt's team pretty well because he ain't gonna score on you.
I like the sound of that.
We'll get to that guy later. Next up, we have we talked about earlier, the ever so faithful Wisconsin Wolves. Again, I really like this team a lot. This is Peter's team, so Peter will give us his firsthand take. He gave us a little bit. One of the best cards I think you took. I like JT Realmuta.
Yeah, no, my strategy went off the rails. Matt and I had been preparing both of us to go with the draft relievers early and then like take good starters late type of thing. And there were so many good on-base 9s with extra bases that I just couldn't help myself.
I mean, look at
and
that.
I was
So
like,
your first pick, you went 10, 9, 9, 9, 9.
I will tell you, in the draft room, people really wanted Malik Smith.
Yeah,
That's
I figured they did. After Yelich got taken, spite drafting
flustered.
would have taken over a little bit.
Well, what's cool about McNeil and Smith? Even though you go look at them and go, what they can't hit home runs in their 9s,
No.
but they're 22 and 23 speed that get on second. Basically, well, Malik's probably getting on second as a 10, and then Jeff Neal's basically getting on second as a 14.
Well, let's be honest, they're getting on second at a 3 and a 4. These are guys that are going to steal a lot. Like if you have a +8 arm, they're still safe.
Yeah.
Unless you roll over a 15.
Yeah.
That's 75% chance they're stealing successfully, and that's if you have a +8, which is not common. So
are you?
Yeah.
Are you going?
Well, Peter went with the 0 infield, so he went hardcore. No infield.
I think it'll be fine.
I think it'll be fine too, but I think it's gonna be great.
Peter, who are your first what is your lineup? Are you batting Smith and McNeil 1-2?
I think I have to.
I think so too.
And so, I think I go. Oh man.
You have to go with Smith second, right? He's got more pop.
Yeah, to knock him in.
Yep.
You could have 3 20-speed guys in your first 3 batters.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then I have the on-base 10 homer at 17, followed by
at 3. Oh.
And then, man, Xander's gonna hit what 5th? No, I forgot. I have Alex Bregman too. I got him in the 17th round,
and he's a 10, so he'll hit 5th.
God, or 3rd. Like it's one of those things where I have the best lineup. The problem is my rotation gets really weak really fast. And in order to get better tier relievers, 2 of my 4 good relievers give up home runs off their chart. So I'm going to be playing with a lot of fire.
Back to your lineup, your team is incredibly fast.
Yes.
Your guy,
I just looked at power
this.
and on base.
15 is like, so a quote unquote B speed guy is your slowest guy. But like you have, I mean, again, Jacoby Jones probably not getting on base. But like,
He's going to sack bunt whenever he can.
There you go.
Does Peter play Matt?
Yeah, we do. Oh, me, Matt. Not that.
Peter plays definitely Matt R.
Because this is the team.
But I don't know if he plays Matt H.
This is the team that would give Matt H a run.
Clashing styles.
I can look it up real quick.
It's got to be high on base and power.
Oops, wrong button.
Yeah, I figured with your league that starting pitching was so heavy in what I've heard from Bob and Jeff here that I was like, what the hell? Let's go all on base, totally sell out, speed and on base, just try to score as much as I can and hope that the pitching comes through enough. I like Garrett Cole.
I do too. So week 1 you play the guy that has Mike Trout. Week 2 you play the guy we haven't talked about. Week 3 you play a guy we haven't talked about. Week 4 you play the guy that won the week before, the league before. Then you play Matt H. You play the guy with all the 6s.
That's the prime time.
That'll be fun.
That's the Sunday night game.
That's week 5, and then you play Matt R. at the last week of the season to probably see which one of you guys is going to win the division.
Yeah, deciding.
Well, no, I think Matt R. He stayed true to form, whereas I went way off script, and I think the script was smarter, which we'll get to.
I think you've still got decent closers, though. I'm a little worried about your starters.
I mean, Alex. Yep. No one knew if any more Orioles were going to go, and then Alex Cobb went, and I was like, whoa!
Yep, he was the
He took him right before me, because I was eyeing him.
Yeah. I was like, control 3. Let's do this. He'll probably be my 4th starter.
Yeah,
Or I could punt on the first starting position since I get to order it how I want.
Absolutely. Right. You get to determine. It's your team.
All right. My ace.
Yeah,
Alex Cobb.
He's just having a rough year. So you could sort of determine what you want to do. You could have Garrett Cole pitch game 2, and then
Bregman, pick of the draft.
I liked your text. It was like, motherfucking Bregman.
We talked about it. I couldn't believe he was still on the board then, but it clearly got to a point.
No one could afford him.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one could afford him, and then it was just like, it was going to be a game.
That's why I waited on him
to actually be able to afford him.
So, Peter, can you also talk about what other challenges you were having during the draft?
You taking everyone from me.
No, more personal.
Oh, you mean my date night?
Yeah.
That was also a problem.
or not. We'll see.
Literally, I'm on a frippin' date, and it was easy because we were at my place. We were making fish tacos. It was nice time, but at some point we had to make emergency grocery run. And I'm like, I got plenty of time before my next pick. So I honestly picked Xander Bogaerts in the 5th round without knowing any of the context of who was available.
I still like him.
Yeah, it worked out.
I was just like, and that honestly is probably why Trey Turner is still available for you later on.
You're right.
Because you were like, you're up. And I'm like, Xander.
Now, hopefully that date, is she coming back then to critique as you're draft grading tonight?
She's coming back tonight. We'll see if she gets back in time before we finish.
Okay.
Should be here.
So what are we ranking Peter here?
I feel solid at a B+.
Yeah, I was thinking B+ as well. I think his lineup is the best we've seen so far, which is probably gonna win him a lot of games. I just really worry about Cole and Cobb and Gray.
It's weak in the pitching.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of David Hernandez is going to be seen.
And Kenley.
Well, and maybe Jose Leclerc is going to be the same as in Matt R. He has like 0 ERA.
He gave up 3 runs in the last 2 games of the season, and that was it.
No.
I might just have to sit him at the end.
There you go.
Rest him for the postseason.
So next up, we have Mr. Raleigh Fingers, Kevin. So this is a very, and again, strategic player. He's always does very well in leagues. He also uses a program to like fish players out for batting wise. He did not want DeGrom, but it fell to him, so he took him, and then he took Mike Folkowitz after. He drafted a weird team where everybody played like every position. I had a tough time finding out what his actual like infield was and outfield. But he had like 11 infield, 5 outfield, and he's got an 11 catcher. But I loved Adam Frazier. I loved him. I actually like Mike Fears a lot, even though he gives up a home run. But being a 5 control for 290 is like an amazing value.
Yeah.
He's got
Markakis too.
Yeah, he's got he's got 2 10s, 2 9s. like an 8, a 7. Javi Baez is a stud.
Is Javi his DH?
His DH is Ian Happ.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a somewhat uncharacteristic Kevin lineup. I'm like, it's from the aspect of like having players that can play like 3 or 4 different positions. That is like trademark Kevin in a lot of ways. Decent speed, but not incredible speed. I think you got Carpenter for the value. 14 speed is bad, and Maldonado he got for the arm, but 12 speed. I guess some of the later guys. Well, 12. Yeah, he's got some. Usually his speed when he had in our drafts was always speed A across the board. The infield defense. What is his defense at?
11.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I just know he said he was eyeing Folknowitz up because of the 4 1 through 17 out was like a really big thing for him.
He really wanted him.
I think Matt Carpenter's good value. Obviously, Javi Baez great value.
Haniger, he picked him right before me.
Yeah, I like Haniger. Nemo, I think he just won another 10 that was fast. Again, if you look at his charts, also he doesn't like guys that get out a lot. So like he was grabbing 1 through 3 outs, 1 through 2 outs. A couple of them obviously went a little higher. Maldonado, he just grabbed the arm. Chapman, great closer.
Yep.
Frazier, I think again, I really wanted Frazier. I think he's an incredible value. He went like basically no relieving. He's basically has Chapman and Pat Neshek, he's a big Pat Neshek fan. And then he's
that's going to be his downfall.
So honestly.
We'll see. Even with DeGrom and Fultonewicz, that relieving is.
But he's only got the 5. Like his catcher batting 9th. The rest of his team is 7 and above, which is pretty solid.
Yep.
Yeah, I like his team. The thing that with your league, Bob, since there's only 3 steals at the most a game.
Yes.
The whole catcher thing to me is a little more over. I know like single pluses can happen too, but
yeah, no, it is. It's a little.
It just feels like a lot. Like if it was unlimited steals and you're playing Peter and he's got 4 20s, like yeah, Maldonado's fantastic.
Absolutely, and we did have it at 5 at one point. It became a little ridiculous because a couple people were stealing 5 bases a game every game, and I would like go to real baseball. I'm like, is any team stealing 5 bases a game every game? Like no one's doing that. Realistically, you're going to get in that 2 to 3 to 4 range maybe. I mean, that's what I was looking at, but I think this people use speed now more or less for moving around the bases, not so much stealing. And grabbing that big arm is, like you said, not as valuable, I don't think. I think if you got a guy who's in the middle range, you're going to be happy. I don't think you needed to grab a Maldonado.
No. But with his team, it fits since that's like his only 5, and it makes it okay.
Yeah, he sort of punted on it a little bit and said, you know what, I'm just going to make sure like Peter's the only guy going to steal on me.
Yeah.
Though I don't think you guys play each other. Maybe in the playoffs.
Fingers crossed.
We've talked about how the catchers are bad. Like, it's just we got
to
a point late
catchers
in the draft.
dropped really quick.
Yeah, a lot of them went early, which I get. But then it got to a point, kind of to what we're saying here, that it's like, all right, there's a bunch of +6s, +7s, +8s. They can't bat, or they all can't bat. It's just like you just kind of shrugged your shoulders and said whatever. Like, we'll get to my team, but I took probably a catcher earlier than I thought, just because I looked at it and said, oh, he's probably the best available, and don't feel like I'm reaching, but I was ready to wait. And and I think with the 3, I never really thought about that way because I've only played in your league where it's 3 max. But yeah, it's not that devastating if they get on, and like again, you still have to have the right speed, right guys to get on there, and it's so circumstantial depending on them getting on base.
So I think the one issue with his team is the high on base guys. I guess they double at 14 and 15, but there's not a lot of home run power.
Yeah, I mean Javi Baez is his like biggest home run guy.
I love it.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's going to be some games where he has big frustrating spells scoring.
Yeah.
Also, again, hopefully he never has to use his bullpen other than Pat Neshek and Chapman because all of them give up home runs. He grabbed like all the Indians pitchers.
Well, and even Chapman and Neshek, like they're a tier 3 and a tier 4, like they have a high control, but they're going to give up charts and they're going to give up base runners, and before long there I can't see them going more than 2 innings between the 2 of them successfully.
And even his big starters, which are DeGrom and Foltynewicz, are only 4s. I mean, again, we just talked about how good that is on my team, but it's great to have 4s, but they're not 5s. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, so that's why Matt's
great for their IP, but then you can't expect them to forage on too much farther.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to be up big to like extend them.
And I don't know if he's going to be up big with his team, but again, I like it, but I don't know if I love it. Like
I think DeGrom and Folty were like the ERA leaders in mine.
really.
Yeah, they're good.
ERA or WHIP, one of them. They were like the top two.
So that's good for him. Then he probably is gonna do well. You know, I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna turn out. Again, this is why we do this. That's why the early draft grades are given out so we can see how wrong we are at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking a B plus. I don't know if I want to rank him in the A minuses.
No, I think it's a
No, I mean,
Middle
I
of the
think
road
lower
team.
than, he might be
It's
B
worse than
minus
my
compared to
team.
the other-
So
other
what's
teams.
Peter at?
B minus. I mean, mine was
we
B
gave you
plus.
we give you a B plus. I'm thinking B minus. Yeah, okay, we'll give him a B minus here. Okay, it has been decided. Now let's go to the probably favorite team here. The shifty guy who comes to my house, doesn't even know me, drafts this amazing team.
Yeah, dude, what a dick.
Yeah, what a dick.
That's what I was going for.
So again, we'll just recap really quickly. This is the high flying air bombs. How did you like the experience? Peter, did you see my draft setup? Did you watch the video?
It was really cool.
So how did you like it, Matt, being there? I go a little over the top with my stuff.
It was tons of fun. It's the first draft I've ever done for Showdown, so that was cool. Like live draft, and I didn't even participate in my draft, so it was the first draft I ever did for Showdown.
Yeah, for people that don't know, if you guys didn't see the video, we had like a Jeff from our Jeff, who's on the podcast right now, is a musician, and he brought like all his sound equipment. We had like microphones set up and like basically like an announcement, PA system, basically every pick. And
Yeah, we overdid it.
We did it a little bit. I had like a 1910s like interview outfit on, and we had the table set up, all of my Funko Pops, and we just really kind of had pizza and meatball sauce. We kind of went all out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will say I was disappointed in the way that we picked so fast that we couldn't announce picks. Like I wanted to be like Roger Goodell at the podium saying with the first pick in the draft. It just
we
It
didn't
was
even
4 hours though.
Would have helped my ingredient run.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
We had to average 1.1 minutes per pick to get all the picks in under 4 hours, and we did
That's
it in
great.
3 hours and 43 minutes. So we basically averaged a minute per pick.
Which Hannah did appreciate.
Well, and then so did my wife with the kids. But it's hard to then look up picks, announce the picks, like interview people. Like it was. Next time we're just gonna relax a little more.
Day 3 of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think next for 2019, Peter needs to fly into Cleveland.
Yeah, Peter, this is the Mecca. I don't know if you
I
know
agree
that.
with
That would actually be amazing. Yeah, let's do it like on a weekend.
We
Well,
could.
it was on a weekend.
A Friday, Saturday,
Yeah, we
Sunday.
could do it for the weekend, and we could like get together and do some
Go to
fun
an Indians
stuff.
game.
Do we for sure?
I would
we
do
should
it.
see if they play the Brewers or anything, or any teams that you like, St. Louis or something.
I love watching them lose.
By the way, I thought what's his face? Oh, who's the guy for the Cardinals? Adam Wainwright was like retired in the grave. The guy's still
He's
pitching,
back.
and he's killing it right now.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get a card next year.
I thought the guy was like literally on his like last leg, and he's like 5-0 in his last 5 starts with like a 1 ERA or something stupid.
What
Might
about
be a
Flaherty
great-
recently?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flaherty's been
His
incredible.
last 70 innings, he has like a .8 ERA.
Jeez,
Which is nuts. And Flaherty's barely below a 3 ERA on the season.
really?
Yeah, he's 2.
Yeah, he's gonna be a stud.
Yeah.
I was looking at it last night when I saw that.
Well, he's barely gonna be Fulton Airwaits at the moment.
There you go.
Like, for his full season.
So,
But yeah, he should. Man, he's. Yeah. Well, we'll see. He's
All
got
right.
a little. He's probably got a starter or 2 left.
all right. Let's before we get sidetracked too much. Let's
All right.
go to the probably my favorite team. I think a few others' favorite team in the draft. Again, Matt, you kept to the script, I guess. And how did your team
Yeah.
turn out? Tell us about it.
I loved it. It basically went everywhere I wanted. The one thing I didn't plan on was Wilson Ramos.
I love Wilson Ramos.
I
too.
liked the White Sox catcher, was that Omar Narvaez,
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
and then Ramos was still there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take him.
Yeah, you also went with the all closer strategy. So
Yep.
no
Awesome.
no RPs. Spent a lot of salary on those closers,
And they're all gonna be pitching.
and they're all studs. So you're going to be hypothetically moving them in early because a couple of these guys throw 5 innings. The
Yeah.
one guy's at 2.
My
Sean-
hope is if I get through 5 innings with my starter, then I'm good.
Yeah.
If I get through 4, I'm probably good.
So we got with Carrasco's probably your best pitcher.
Yeah.
You punted on Taylor and McMahon.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your lineup though is 10, 10, 10, 9, and then it drops. We got an 8
Yeah.
Gene Segura.
The 2 5s is killer.
Yeah, the 2 5s will hurt, but I'm hoping that my 3 10s will.
And your 3
pick it
10s
up.
are 18 home
Or-
run, 17 home run, and 18 home run, which also give you really good defense. Aaron Judge is such a good card.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him in the mock as my second round pick. So
Yeah.
when I saw him in the third, I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
He almost kept dropping to me. I was like, oh my god, I'm taking Aaron Judge third,
Yeah.
and then it didn't happen.
And I love Eddie Rosario. I think he's so good. He's got great fielding, great speed, tons of power. Don't like the 1 through 6 out, but who cares?
No. And my thought there is, I was looking at the 7s. Michael Taylor, it's like he'll hit 9 for me, and if he gets on base, fantastic. I got a 23.
Yeah, I was looking at your you have a very very solid infield your outfield's a +7, great catcher, pretty good infield 9. So if there are ground ball outs, you still should be fine.
Yeah, I didn't even draft for a good infield.
I know you
just
sort
kinda...
of fell into it, which I thought was great.
Also, Rick Porcello went in the third to last round, and he is the exact same pitcher as Jake Arrieta. He's a little more expensive because of this strikeout,
Oh my god.
but he's the exact same as Arrieta.
Is that the worst pick of the draft?
Last round, like he's still there.
Matt, did you pick that just to rub it into Nick A?
No, I didn't. I just I was trying to go for 4s as my pitcher.
Absolutely.
So it worked out pretty well for me.
I think your team is very, very balanced and has a lot of pop. Obviously, it's going to fall off at the back end, but
right.
Most teams do. Now, the last team we looked at maybe was a little deeper in terms of the overall lineup, but your lineup is heavier with you could. So you're going to have who we have here. Who's going to be leading off for you?
I'm going to go Jose, Aaron Judge, JD, and then probably Wilson Ramos because I want them to get the most at bats, anyways.
Absolutely. And then what? Rosario and then Segura?
Probably. I like Villar too.
Villar really good too.
Yeah, you're right.
I get the single pluses. I mean,
right.
But those 3 in some mix or match, and then I might go Villar before Rosario actually, just because of 1 less out.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think the only thing your team has to worry about really is if anybody gets ahead on your pitcher, like on the 4 control guy, and that I guess that's the.
But that's why I have 5 bullpen guys.
I know, and it's like the only person you have to worry about would be like if you've played Robert. If he got the lead on you, then he's also gonna fight you to shut you down. But I think your team, in my opinion, is a solid A. I think it's one of the best teams in here. I think it probably is the best team. It's not too flashy, but it's like just flashy enough, like the top 4. But yeah, I like Peter's lineup's real deep too. Like, I don't know. I think your back
His
end
lineup's better than mine.
But you could get to your closers early and shut it down.
Right. And I don't have a closer. They're all just gonna go in when I feel like.
Yeah. Well, no one has a quote unquote closer. I just force people to do it because I hate closers not going. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anybody else thoughts? I think it's an A. Obviously, this is my favorite team in the draft. But
yeah, I'll go A.
What are you
Stuck to the
thinking,
script.
Jeff?
I'm leaning A-.
Ooh.
I'm only saying that.
Fuck your team, man.
I'm just nervous about the back end of the starters and those 5s. But I agree, the 3 10s is just crazy. And yeah, if you can do the relievers right, which you absolutely will, then it's an A. So I think.
How would you feel if my last 2?
If you can navigate the first 3 hitters, it does fall off a lot.
Yeah. And that's where it's going to hurt. I'm just hoping for those 3 to really just be on their game. But, for a 5,000 point league, you got to give and take somewhere.
Yep.
Right.
And I spent so much early, and then I knew my plan was to spend 1,300 on my bullpen. That was my.
Yep.
So it was close. I didn't do the math.
Yeah,
but
so I think that if we compared this to Matt H, right?
I look at I use my league as a lot of reference points. I know the guys aren't going to perform the same, but when I'm looking at the playoff teams, like that boy X had, I think, the best record in the league, and he has 2 5s at the end of his order.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get charged. I think the best thing you're going to be able to do is to lock down a game when you have the lead. And if your team has the power to get the lead, where like Robert's team, the Funko Fanatics, doesn't have the power, I think, to get the lead. Unless he gets lucky, like you said, like you rolled a 1 and then he hits a home run. Whereas your team doesn't need that 1. Like you got these 10s that have so much power. I think the only thing that your team could be better as if some reason like one of those 7s was a 9, your team would be like
Right.
freaking ridiculous.
And that's where I wanted to get a leadoff hitter to put in front of that, but then I was like, Jose's a 20. You know, the only thing is he won't be driving as many runs, but hopefully Judge and Martinez are bringing him in.
Yeah.
And then I still got Ramos, who pretty beastly too.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out. You play the guy we're going to talk about next. So we're going to give you an A there. We're going to play the next guy you're going to play is Dusty, who's the Hardcore Gamers. Dusty is a big advocate of infield. I don't know why.
Well, I know.
I want to think balance looking at that.
And I talked to him about this. He is huge on the ground ball double play.
Yeah,
and
he loves it.
I played it. He was my last game in our 2000-2001 series, and it happened all the freaking time because he picks pitchers. And if you'll notice here, his starting pitchers in ground ball go 7-12, 9-11, which is not great, 7-12, and then a 6-12.
Yeah, so he drafts his pitchers to get ground ball outs, and then grabs his infield then to do it.
Yep.
I
think other than that though, he's got the lineup. Honestly, I would have loved to have.
I like where he grabbed people too, like Trevor Story. Obviously, love him. I actually love Freddie Freeman better than your Paul Goldschmidt. Picking 100 point less, and basically the same player.
Benintendi is incredible.
Matt Chapman, I thought was incredible.
Tommy Pham.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys are really good. I actually like Manny Pina a lot, being a 5, but still a solid arm with a little bit of pop.
Aaron Hicks is also really, really good.
Yeah, so he's gonna go like his lineup's really deep. I mean, he's got the 1-5, but the rest of them are all 8s or higher. Like that's a really strong lineup.
And he's got 2. I think bullpen depth is going to be kind of what comes back to bite him.
And he doesn't care. And that's his thing. He's gonna try. I mean, he's got Scott Oberg, I guess, and Brad Hand, but like Clippard's awful. But I know he doesn't. I know he's okay with like the home run on a chart because he's like that chances that are so small for like 1 inning. You know what I mean? Like he's just gonna throw them.
That's why I got 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you never want them, but if you get them for 20 points and get a forearm, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, his other guys, he went for the starting pitchers to get ground ball outs. I don't know if I love them because they're 4s and 3s and they don't really have a ton of outs, but they're okay.
That's the worst thing. They're all tier 4.
Yeah.
So Malik Miley's is best as a tier 3, but IP 5.
And then then you have to go right to Alberg and Brad Hand early.
Yeah.
I think he's got to outscore people, which he might be able to do. It might probably contending with my lineup.
Yeah, I mean he's probably going like Tommy Pham leading off with like.
I think he's too good to lead off.
Joey Wendell might be leading off. I don't know.
Maybe he has Benintendi.
Yeah, so he's got Benintendi leading off. Tommy Pham. Then he's probably got Freddie Freeman followed by Story. Then Chapman.
Aaron Hicks.
Aaron Hicks. So much speed.
Aaron Hicks.
His slowest speed is 16.
Yeah, he's got a ton of speed.
Deal that late.
Yeah, he's got a pretty heavy lineup. This is actually a pretty decent team, but he has to outscore his opponents because he's not going to beat them with his pitching.
We have very similar teams, except I think, which is insane to say, my pitching is better.
He also has 40 more points to spare on somebody.
I can attest to that. So, Matt, were we tweeting about this together? About the
what were we talking about?
Yeah, the ground. So okay,
yeah,
we
were.
Brad Ziegler is a 70-point. He's got 40 points to spare, and I can't remember the name. It's
McFarland. TJ McFarland.
Oh, that was that boy X that brought it up.
Okay,
I think
that's it.
Yeah,
he's 6-13 ground ball, and like Dusty and I didn't mark it yet because I'm sure it'll be fine, but he's 6-13 ground ball. He's a way better card than Ziegler, so he's going to upgrade at least his relieving staff there a bit.
Okay, so that guy, for anybody listening, will be upgraded to that guy. So that reserves 40 points going in. I'm thinking, but I'll actually like this team. I think it's like a B+.
I think it's a B+.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun team to see how it plays
Matt,
out.
this is who you play first. Do you think you could beat them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody's on the same point scale, so...
Do you think you can roll really, really good? Did you pray to the gods?
I mean, I'm confident in that I'll have a 5 in game 1 and then a lot of 5s in my bullpen after them. So that feels good.
Yeah.
I only need like a 4 or 5.
Plus his lineup is good enough that against pitching like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go back to your team really quickly here. Let's see, yours. You got 4 or 5, and you should be able to hold off. You know, if you're not pitching Junior Guerrero in the first series,
Right.
you know, if you hold them to the next series, which you play Robert's team. Actually, it's a great strategy. So Robert's team is no 9s and 10s. You could hold Junior Guerrero be your 4th starter.
There we go.
And there, you should be able to face off pretty decently against Dusty's team. So, hardcore gamers. So yeah, I think that's a good grade. Next up, we have Nick S., who's another big person on fielding. He loves fielding. He picked up Francisco Lindor first. He has a 15 infield. It's like one of the highest you can get. An 11 catcher and then a 5 outfield. So he went all. If you look at this team, this is not me putting in a lineup order. This is actually how he drafted all batters and then all pitchers. So it's a pretty good team. He's got 4 10s, and then he's got a couple 8. He got an 8, a 9, a 7, and 5 6. But his 5 and 6 are pretty awful.
My first thought with that is it reminds me of that Fires team in my league that took all 400-point starters at the beginning. Except this guy took them all in the second half of the draft.
and they're pretty decent, like 400-point starters.
Yeah, and he took Kendricks and Price. Those two are for sure on his team.
Oh, that's funny.
And I think he had Lester and Carrasco were his other two.
And then he went so he went 10-point reliever, 10-point closer, 20-point, 70-point, and then so he's not
that bullpen.
He is not hoping to get to his bullpen ever, which is rough because his starters really aren't like that. Brad Keller game's gonna be rough.
Brad Keller can't. Charlie Morton would be a control 1.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's gonna be tough.
He overreached on his first 2 picks.
I mean, he definitely went really good. So he went with. He's used as a big speed guy, but he's got a couple 13s on his team. I mean, he's got a great lineup. I don't think as good as the lineup we just saw. Man,
I don't know if that lineup can outscore to make up for when his starters go out.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor is his best hitter.
Because it's a good lineup. But
he does have 4 10s. 4 10s is
but
really
one of them is Joey Votto.
2 of the 10s are really frustrating in Zobrist and Votto.
Yep.
Especially Votto. And Arenado, with a 10 that gets out through 6, he has 2 of them. I mean, that's a backbreaker. You roll like a 6.
And they're all slow. Like they're all 13s and one's a 14. Like his fastest guy is the Pollock, who's not going to get on base.
He's going to need like 4 singles to score.
Yeah, and then hopefully getting Francisco Lindor getting a chart because he's his best hitter.
This is like my team, my mini season team, that I try to get them all on base and scoring, and it's like
doesn't work.
But it's like that team except minus a ton of on base, right? It's just like my guys are all 10s and 9s. Like these are not all 10s and 9s, and I don't.
And,
and
that strategy, as we found out, does not work because Jeff's idea was to go high on base and just get consistently getting on base and score runs. The problem is you can't consistently get those on base things. You need to actually score a run when you need to. You need to get a double when you have to, and a triple or a home run, and you need a little pop. So I don't know. This actually might be one of the worst teams we've seen.
I think this is my lowest one.
I think it's better than the first 2.
You think so? So you think he's better than the first team that has Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout?
Yeah.
I think he's a solid C.
I was thinking a C.
If not lower.
We gave a C plus to the first team, so I mean, I think this is the worst team I see in my opinion. But actually,
the bullpen is really bad.
We haven't seen I think the worst team is the last team, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Who, Jeff?
No. That's fantastic. Maybe it is Jeff's. Can't wait to rank this team.
I'm nervous. No, I'll talk through.
I actually like Jeff's because I've been seeing him tweet about it all week.
So, yeah, no, but I'll walk through my thoughts here. I'm very nervous.
So Jeff's team is the Thanos Snappers, which is a great logo. He's got a turtle with the Thanos gauntlet on it, and he said he's gonna destroy half the league. That's his goal. So I love his.
So he's going 500,
but for, for economical reasons, though, right?
Jeff also put this. I think did you put this in batting lineup order
it's
for
not
us?
in batting lineup.
It's just pitchers. It's just position order. Okay.
I can talk about my batting lineup.
Okay, so first talk about your strategy, and then we'll go quickly into your lineup and
So
whatnot.
I was kind of piggybacking a lot on Matt H, just seeing how he performed against me and against others. That I just wanted some stellar pitchers off the bat. So I really wanted Nola, so I got him. It was great. And then Verlander was there. I was really playing back and forth. I almost wish he wasn't there, so I would have taken whatever batter was best there. But I grabbed him. I think my third pick with Goldschmidt, and I'll get to that, I think was a bad pick. And then Miles Mikolas was fine. And Bader, I think, was good. I started getting... One of my big strategies was getting the good pitching and then getting some power hitters, right? Some 7 and 8 power hitters. I would have loved to get more 8s, but I got some really good 7 power hitters that I stand behind. So
and you only have 1 6.
Yeah.
You have no 5s.
So I actually I drafted a 5 in Nick Ahmed. I'll get to. I made a major roster change last night, which I'll cover. My biggest thing that I just got super nervous about, that I really was not paying attention to during the draft, that I think will end up haunting me, is that I did not draft a single great reliever. I really just punted on that. My highest one was Hector Rondon at 100. And I love the Miles Mikolas pick. I love the Cole Hamels. I actually think is an incredible value at 400 for what he is.
So you went with a no doubles strategy.
Yeah.
And a lot of 1 through 16 out guys.
So what I did last night was, and again, I did the simulation. I got really nervous. I wasn't loving my Goldschmidt pick. And I didn't pick him because he was first base +1. I want to be clear about that. I picked him because he was the best.
Kevin,
he's a really good
Listen to
hitter.
that. He was the best batter available, in 10 on base, 18, 20 home run is a good thing.
I just don't think he's worth 510 points.
Right. Exactly. No, he's not. He's absolutely not. So I did the math. I ended up dropping Goldschmidt, which gave me a lot of flexibility. I dropped Goldschmidt, Jurickson, Profar, which that's the one I'm bummed about because he's an incredible card, and I think someone will pick him up. Nick Ahmed, and then Joe Kelly, which was just a throwaway reliever. And I got Justin Smoke, who I think is incredible pick. He wasn't in... I don't think he Matt. He was in your league, which I couldn't believe.
Oh.
Justin Smoke.
He helped power the Golden Retrievers to their championship.
He's on Peter's middle league team.
I saw him, and I just said, this seems like a better first base, like at least for the value, a better first baseman than Goldschmidt. I got Justin Turner, he's gone crazy in your league. He has a ton of All-Star points.
1 through 2 out. Stud.
That's
I was
the other
torn
big thing.
between Turner and Bregman late.
Really?
It's a great pick. Yeah, it's just like I had so many points that I was like, I might as well take Bregman. But I was texting Matt about it during the draft, like, which one?
And then I ended up getting, and I love it. It's actually probably my favorite pick. I got Charlie Blackmon late in the draft as my DH.
Yeah,
I
he's really good.
And then the big thing, though, the big reason I dropped Goldschmidt was to get another good reliever, which the problem is right now, there are no more good relievers. I would say there are average at best relievers. So I did get Steve Cishek.
Yep.
Good reliever.
He's fine.
He's good. 4 1 to 6 and out. He's solid. No doubles.
Something funny here, just a little observation. I've been a part of 2 drafts, and in both drafts, the person that drafted Goldschmidt dropped him the next day.
Well, it was Peter.
That was me.
It was Peter.
That was one where I couldn't believe he was still available in like the 10th round. So I just took him, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but except I used my third pick on him.
The most disappointing thing, Peter, is that he drafted the alternate color version and was really upset to get rid of the purple Goldschmidt throwback version.
I wanted to use it.
So he's available for anybody listening in our league.
So I think
the problem is I did the same thing this draft when I picked Bregman late. Yeah. I can't help myself. I'm taking these 500-point guys at the end.
So my starters, I believe in them. No doubles. And I will say, even though my relief staff is bad, if you look at the value, Tim Hill is great for 30 points. Yeah. Justin Miller is great for 20 points. I stand behind some of these guys. And Kyle Bearclaw at 50 points for 3 control and no home run or anything. So I stand behind a lot of these, but I think my team was bad to start with. I was very nervous. And I think the tweaking I did yesterday, and usually I get nervous about that, I think it was good tweaking. I felt really good about it.
I mean, I like Yasiel Puig and Bader a lot.
Yeah, I got 7.
So what's your lineup going to be?
So I've been kind of toying with it.
You only got the one bit. Do you have who's your biggest hitter? Yasiel Puig, Jed Lowry, Justin Smoke's probably your cleanup hitter or third spot.
Yeah. So what I was toying with was Harrison Bader leading off. I don't love a 7 there, but I think it's good with the speed. Maybe Corey Dickinson second, but again another 7. I don't love that.
Oh man.
I'll probably end up doing Blackmon second.
I'd put Blackmon first.
Blackmon first.
What do you guys think? You guys looking at this?
I like the analytics approach of if you have like with Blackman and Turner as your 1-2, they're going to get the most at bats for your team.
Yeah, you got to think about that. The most at bats in a baseball team will get for the first and second hitters overall. The second guy you want is a little bit more power because he actually has the ability to score more runs or RBIs.
So then I'll probably
I'd go Turner Blackman.
Yeah, or vice versa. Well, do you want the 14 speed to be leadoff hitter, or you don't care?
Blackman's got so much pop.
He does. He gets
just
like a
needs to
13.
get on.
Yeah,
he's a crazy good card.
I like the idea. If I was doing it, I would go Blackman, Turner, Smoke, and then Puig.
Yep, I really want to hit
I actually
Puig
like
early.
it better. I think I like Peter's. I think I like Turner Blackman.
Does Blackman have triples?
Yeah, a lot of.
At
So
16.
I could see that then because he could bring Turner home regardless.
Yeah, Turner could get on base at a 3. He can walk, and then Blackman gets the triple, and then you got Smoke, who's really powerful. Puig, who could just really chart it up, and then you could have Lowry or Bader after that.
Lowry and Smoke are studs. I think even at 3, 4, 5 or somewhere within there, I don't think the middle of my lineup is the throwaway. And even towards the back end, I mean, you're still going to have some sevens that can hit really hard. I mean, Corey Dickerson is not a throwaway. So
no.
My only throwaway in here is Addison Russell.
Which was the trade-in for the Nick Ahmed.
Yeah, and it's fine. I gave up an infield because it doesn't matter, to Peter's point, and I got an extra on base, which I think
so
is
what'd
fine.
you end up with? Let me just see real quick. You had a 9 infield, 7 outfield, 7 catching. I think the 7 outfield's really good. Obviously, I don't really care about the infield. As you did your play testing, and it was like 2 ground ball outs. So I think it's gonna be very, very small. What are you guys thinking for this team? What are you gonna rate them? F?
I thought it was enough to start.
I'm thinking.
I like it.
I'm thinking
B+.
BB plus. Yeah, I was thinking BB plus.
I'll go solid
Because
B.
I think with his lineup, how it's not like the jump off the page, like powerful lineup, his starting rotation is going to cancel that out.
Verlander, Nola. Again, I don't really care about the no doubles.
Great 1-2.
Peter's
3 runs
convinced
a game,
me on the
I think
no
is good
doubles.
when those 2 pitch.
Yeah,
but I think the bigger thing is he's tier 2, tier 3 with high control.
It's the 1 through 16 out that's going to be so devastating.
Right.
I like his rotation. It'll balance out the lineup. As long as he can score like 3 to 4 runs most games, he should be okay.
So in my sim yesterday,
you just need to make sure you don't get tired on relieving because you only got the 2 strong relievers, quote unquote strong.
I'm really
the one
about
strong reliever.
Yeah, quote unquote anybody over 100 points.
So in my sim, the only way that people scored off of Nola and Verlander was home runs, which is hilarious.
Which is realistic because that's how Verlander lets up runs.
So that's how my league played out, kind of too.
Yeah. You didn't do the 24-side dice, did you, for your league?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So my league's gonna be a little crazier. And
if it's a 1, right?
Yes, and Matt, when you come over, Peter won't obviously get to experience this, but these dice I have, who's eating potato chips?
That's Peter.
Popcorn.
You could hear him talking.
I know. Geez, Peter, bring it back from the mic. You're gonna experience this. We got the 24-side dice, but the I guess the pitch on the dice is very shallow. If you understand what I'm saying, and as you roll it, it rolls for multiple seconds. So in my drinking league, you drink the whole time it's rolling. You'll drink like 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, I'm not joking. It rolls up and then down the table. Unless it hits a card, it usually it rolls off the table.
It's basically spherical.
Yeah,
it's
they always call it like the what do they call it? Heart attack dice is what my friends call it and whatnot. But you like roll it and you're like, come on, 23, 24, and it just like, and then you think you see it. And
what does that all count as a 20 if it's over a 20?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. But it's
so
just
Alex
fun to
Smith
see it.
can't homer with a 24.
No, he cannot. But it is funny to see the dice roll happen, and just this anticipation. And my friends at first thought, you're in 24-side dice. It's kind of dumb. But as they played with it, they're like, it's actually really fun to do that semi-gambling in the middle where you're like, what's going to happen? Like, it sort of has this, like, crazy fear, excitement that while the dice is rolling, you don't know what's going to happen.
And I think it gives a little bit more credence to a team like Roberts with the on-base 8. Yeah. Well, I guess they just don't have a ton of power.
His teams are very odd.
But this is where the power hitters
come into Jeff, play. Like where if they roll a 1, you're getting your chart, and then it's 16 to 24 is a home run.
Right. That's where my opinion entirely changed on that. Is that a 1 is getting rolled unless you're a 5 or something, you're getting the advantage. And if you're getting the advantage, then you better be hitting a double or better, right? And that wasn't happening with my mini season team. They were just getting singles or walks with the mistake pitch, and I was freaking out, right?
I'll tell you my favorite thing to see is like, let's just use Jeff's team here as an example. Is like, say Justin Miller's pitching against Malik Smith, and Justin Miller gives the advantage to Malik Smith, and Malik Smith can't hit a home run on his own chart, but he could have if it stayed on Justin Miller's chart.
But only at 20.
That cracks me up whenever that happens.
Only at 20.
All right, so we gave you a solid B plus.
I think a B.
Okay.
B plus.
I actually think I think you're close to a B plus.
All right.
But I think the next team is the funkiest team in the draft that we'll talk about. Is AJ. This is the former champion. He has the Francisco Lindor Trophy, which is great. If you fly in next year, Peter, and you win this year, you could take it home with you. But
I know that AJ won't have it when I'm there.
Oh, so AJ has it right now. But it is a pretty cool little trophy. I put a Funko Francisco Lindor on it. That's for him. Little interesting strategy. So he is the Judgment Day T800s. 9 infield, 7 outfield, 7 catcher. He said he was going back to his old school strategy. He went Kane, Cervelli, then Scherzer, which I really don't like. Again, he's Randy Johnson. Whit Merrifield's great. Joey Gallo out of nowhere.
That was a reach.
Super big reach.
There's a lot of things
I
going
love
on here.
Gallo.
Chris Archer's terrible.
Chris Archer, we talked about this beforehand. That Matt R was like, he's one of the worst pitchers in the league. He's on my team. He's terrible. And then Josh Hader, again out of nowhere. Again, these guys could have fell way deeper into the draft.
He pitches a lot of threes, huh? All three.
Yeah.
Other than Greinke
so the
and
league
Stroke.
he won was a league where he had Randy Johnson and what's the pitcher from the Reds, Peter and Matt, that 2014 cards that
Denny Neagle.
No. 2014.
I don't have 2014.
Cueto.
So he had Randy Johnson and Johnny Cueto, and they dominated. Yep. But I think that's so lucky. They did so well. But he won that year that he had those players.
I actually think they're really good. I like the Scherzer pick. If he had fallen any far, like I was gonna take him instead of Cole.
I mean, he's basically Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, he did fantastic in my league. His record didn't always show it, but his ERA was like the same as Snell.
Really? That's pretty impressive.
Because they're on the same team.
Adrian Beltre, pretty decent pick, but if I'm looking at this, he's got the 210s. Obviously, Kane's probably leading off.
I just want to see Gallo and Crush hit back to back.
But they don't have any home runs. Like Cervelli's got 20, and then Kane's got no home runs. Whit Merrifield, no home runs.
It's all Davis and Gallo.
So he's got Chris Davis.
I was like,
and
what
Joey
about
Gallo.
Chris Davis? What about Chris Davis?
He's got the two guys that have the 13 to 20 home run.
Oh my god!
And I joked about this.
That's my favorite part.
When he drafted Joey Gallo, I was like, why Joey Gallo? Why not Chris Davis? And he goes, Joey Gallo's +2 outfield, left right field. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that makes a little sense. And then later on, he grabs Chris Davis. I was like, fantastic.
I give A+.
Yeah, A+ for heart.
In the 16th pick, right?
But he just doesn't seem like he's gonna score. Like Kane's gonna get on base, and like Whit Merrifield's gonna get on base, and then no one's knocking him in, and then like Cervelli's gonna get on base, and like no one's gonna score him, and then again Chris Davis is probably gonna hit a solo home run every few games, and Joey Gallo's gonna hit a solo home run every few games. Maybe they'll hit a 2-run home run, but I mean I like Greinke.
I like his value. I really do like the value of his team.
Scherzer's probably gonna do well. You're probably right. Karcher's terrible.
He's all 3s and 2s. It looks like pitching, other than Greinke.
Yeah.
Oh, and Stroke.
Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah, he actually you were the one that didn't like Strope getting picked because that was the guy you liked.
Yeah, because I was gonna go way off the rails. Because instead of John Gray, I was gonna take Strope, and then pick up like a 10-point starter and use 5 relievers for my 4th starter game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the Kane Cervelli pick 1-2 threw me the hell off.
I didn't know what he was doing.
I was so confused.
Like, why not just take Scherzer at that point?
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't like. They're extreme value, but Cervelli, like, I just don't get that pick. Like, maybe he's the best catcher. Maybe.
But even Gallo and Archer, they were all just very far reaches.
Even Whit Merrifield is like.
And
I actually love Whit Merrifield. I just don't.
He's great. He's great, but
what
It's just he saved all of his points to spend them on Josh Hader, Joey Gallo, and Chris Davis.
oh, we're gonna find
Yeah,
out.
I mean, again, I guess his strategy is that if his pitchers blow up, if and when they do, because they will, that you're gonna go to Josh Hader, which is just a 3 again, and hope that it's basically
You
like,
can't give up a run.
are the dice gonna keep rolling the same if you go from a 3 control starter to a 3 control reliever?
Yeah.
No.
Well, and
Pedro's
it's
good.
only 2 innings. It's a 9-inning game.
Yeah, I mean Pedro's good, but in my opinion, this is the worst team in the draft.
It might be.
I did not like.
I think you should go to the store and buy a bunch of bottle rockets, and every time Gallo and Davis hit home runs, you have to shoot them off.
Just light them off. Actually,
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be flipping chairs.
This is a side story, but I used to live with this guy, AJ, a really good buddy of mine. I love AJ. I used to live with him, and there was a point where I was super, super drunk, and I was lighting off fireworks in the house that we were living in. And so I would take firecrackers, I'd light them, and then throw them in the house, into the hardwood table, underneath the hardwood tables, and like, I don't know, because I was just really drunk. He was super pissed. So if I did that, he'd be super pissed off. Even if it was
I just love that I said that, and you had a story for it right after.
I was like, that's fantastic. You said that. That's great. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing here.
I think my lineup would be a lot of fun versus these controls.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that have the strong lineups are going to do very, very well against this pitching staff. If you have anybody weak, he's going to light it up. And I know he's done tournaments where he's had 6 on-base guys with lots of power do really well. But I think in a small sample size, they do well. And I don't know if you're going to continue that over the season.
It's so circumstantial.
And Matt, didn't you find like a big drop-off between on-base 7 and 6 in your league?
Yeah, I don't remember like the numbers because when I posted it on Twitter, but 7 to 6 was a huge drop off.
So AJ's first game of the season is against Matt H's team, which is all the 6 control guys. So I don't see
Gallo's
him
on
getting,
even his own chart.
He can't even chart on him. So after that, he plays Kevin, who's got a pretty good team. Pitches Be Crazy, which is the other guy I thought was not a good team. Then he plays Peter. He plays you. Week 4. So that'll be fun. Let's go.
That's the Saturday night game.
Then he plays Invader Zimmer, who's the one with Mookie Betts. And then he plays me the final week of the season. So yeah, interesting team here.
I got it here.
I think it's a D+. I think this is the worst team in the draft. And I actually hope he does really well. I hope Chris Davis and Gallo are like monsters and like the dice just roll that way because that'd be so much fun.
So
I just don't see it being good.
In my league, when I posted this was through 10 weeks, so there's still 6 weeks after it. 7 on bases had a 328 on base percent, and 6s had a 270.
Oh my god!
270.
I think I saw that,
Wow.
and that's why I tried to get no 6s.
Yeah,
Like,
which
it was
is
7.
You just
like,
had the
minimum.
one. Just had the one, and I thought the same thing. I thought 7s are incredible value, 6s are worthless, and 5s you got to be punting a position. The only reason you should have a 5 is because you needed it because you're doing catching or whatever. But
Points.
yeah, I mean that's why I like Jeff's team pretty good. They're only having that 1-6, which is pretty good. And Dusty.
Shout out to our plans for the 2019 set for adjusting on base percentage, so that now there'll be more 7s and 8s to more accurately reflect that like 320-ish range and
So Peter has
make
been
less worthless 6s.
Yeah, so Peter's been
Have
working.
we announced all that new stuff yet?
No, not yet. Me and Peter are sort of working on the formulas right now, but Peter has been working on the on base to make that more accurate, and also then sort of a halfway point to the 2002 cards where they increased outs as you went down, but 7s become more frequent and more valuable, but their outs maybe increase a little bit. So it's gonna be very interesting. But 6s and 5s become almost undraftable, and 7s are much more exciting. And so that becomes much more of maybe you get the chart, but then you have more outs. It should be a better way to play the game. And then we're working on out charts right now.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on.
Cool.
And I think it'll be a lot more fun for people like me, and then Matt with his like Showdown Cup and playoff tournaments who like to take the like actual teams and play them against each other. Like who want to do Cardinals Brewers or whatever. In the league we had last year with these 6s and 5s, teams like the Orioles and Tigers are so bad because comparatively they're so much worse, but it's not so realistic in terms of the winning percentage against the good teams because they should still have a chance to win like a third of their games.
But it wasn't even reflective, right? I mean, even in Matt's things, the Sixers were underperforming what the Sixers quote unquote should perform at. So to readjust that, just and everyone that's doing that might if they see us at first, they might go, whoa, you have too many sevens. Well, we actually Peter's been doing this with the calculations. Matt's been play testing this. We're trying to make the league all the cards better. Bradley, who's on this podcast, and Bradley, I'm sure will listen to this. He was in Matt's league. He's a SoCal Lemons. He's been working hard on new artwork for us, which I think Peter's falling in love with now, finally. But we're really excited. I mean, everyone, this should be happening very soon after the season ends, that you should be having 2019 cards as well. So I think everyone's going to be very excited for them.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo!
I know. So I'm very happy. And once we figure out the out
and
charts.
Faster.
Yeah, once we figure out the out charts, this should go really quickly. The formula should just basically chart everyone out, and there's only should be a few errors, and we'll fix those ones, for random people that have like barely any at bats, and we should be able to crank that out.
Can we do a World Series prediction?
Oh, okay. So if you guys want, real quickly then, this league, right? You're talking about
this
league. So okay,
yeah.
back to the league. So
what's the divisions?
Yeah,
so,
I don't even
okay,
know
the divisions are the Shoeless Joe Jackson division, which has Dom, which we did a C+. Peter, the Wisconsin Wolves, which we gave a B+. Matt R, which we gave an A. And Hardcore Gamers, which we gave a B+. That's actually a pretty tough division.
Who's Hardcore Gamers?
That's Dusty.
Okay.
And then Ty
Here's a
Cobb.
B.
The Ty Cobb division is Invader Zimmer, which we gave a C-. Pitches Be Crazy, which is a C-. Funko Fanatics, which was a B. And then the Thanos Snappers, which is a B. So that's the kind of middle range division. And then I think the tougher division is my division, the Walter Johnson division, which is the Mighty Muskie Minotaurs at an A-. The Judgment Days at a D+. Then me at a what am I? B+.
Yeah.
And then Raleigh Fingers at a B+, which is a pretty tough division. So the winner of each division will make the playoffs, and then the next best team, the wild card team. The wild card team will face the best overall team.
So okay. I write these out. I'll say these right now. I think Division 1, I think Matt R wins the division. I think he's number 1. In Division 2, I think it's going to be between me and Robert, and I think Robert's going to take it.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be you.
All right.
I think Robert's team is not. I mean, the no 9s or 10s. I just don't see how he's going to keep up. And luckily, he doesn't face Matt H's team.
I'm going to keep Robert. I think he's going to get the advantage. He's going to hit a few home runs, and his pitching is going to lock it down, and it's not going to matter.
Maybe.
I'm nervous about tonight. Maybe.
We'll find out more after they play each other tonight, because that'll be a big show.
So then number 3, I think Matt H gets.
I think Matt H wins our division. My division.
Wild card, I guess to your point, could be between me. It'll be between me,
Peter, and you.
Me, Dusty, and Peter. I was saying.
No, not Dusty. Peter, me, and you.
Oh yeah. Based on Dusty's got a B+ as well.
I just don't think Dusty's team is as good as Peter's team. I think
and he's in he's in the same division as us, right?
Yes, and I think Matt R and Peter will beat up on that. Whereas like your division, Jeff, is a little weaker, and I think you'll have a lot more wins within the division.
So then, if we put me at the wild card,
I mean, I have to hope to beat up on AJ's team.
Yeah, that's true.
And try to get that 3-0 or something.
If you put me at the wild card, then it's me playing Matt R.
I think you're taking the division, and I think Peter's grabbing the 4th seed.
Okay. All right.
I think it goes Matt R with the overall best record, Matt H with the second best record. I think Jeff gets the 3rd seed, but not has the best record, and then Peter gets the 4th wild card seed. Just because he's got the next best record and probably ends up finishing with a better record.
So then Peter is playing Matt in the conference championship.
Well, that's just my opinion. What does everybody else think?
Yeah.
So we'd play week 6 and then we'd play in the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
I'm resting all my guys.
No, okay. I will say that before playoffs, everyone is fully rested, and before the World Series, everyone is fully rested.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
But during the season, it's not that way.
Cool.
My thought on that is because me, Peter, and Dusty are in the same division, I think it's going to be harder to get wins.
Yeah.
We might not have a wild card team.
All I know is I get to play that D+ guy at one point. There's only 6. So
you play 6 games, 3 in the division and 3 outside of the division.
Oh, okay.
So those 3 in the division games are super critical, though. I mean, you have to win those because the tiebreakers are division record.
Wait, is there only 6 games in the entire season?
It's 3-game series. So
Okay, so there's 18 games.
18 games. You play each
Okay.
person in a 3-game stretch. So it'll go starting pitchers 1 through 3, 4 through 2, 3 through
Yeah.
1, etc.
All right, so I'm glad I just did 1, 2 as my best pitchers. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's why
All
I
right.
think Matt R's team's gonna do really well his first week because he plays Dusty and then he goes against a weaker lineup on Robert's team and they'll be very strong against. I actually think I think Matt R will have one of the best records. Actually, again, Matt H could have a really good record too. I think those are 1-2 in my opinion.
I
The
agree.
Matt World Series.
Is wild card automatically the 4, or what if the wild card has a better record than a division winner?
I think
There's only one wild card team, so I guess they just play the number 1 overall seed, not the division winner of the Shulo Jackson division. And so
No, I'm saying
Oh.
if the wild card is better than the 3rd finishing division winner record-wise.
no, they'll still get the 4th seed technically. So that's actually really
Yikes.
good, or not really good. That's really bad.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
if
then Matt and I are playing in round 1.
well, that's because you don't know which Matt.
Matt R. I'm playing Matt R.
Or it could be Matt H. Matt H could
Jeff and Bob are playing in the other one.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
You think-
right. I'm
you think
picking
I'm
all
gonna-
of us.
You think I'm gonna win the division over Matt H?
I don't.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
I believe in you,
shit,
Bob.
thanks.
You're a great manager.
I cannot wait to roll on my own too. I do terrible in my own seasons. I'm awful.
Yeah, you're due, Bob. Like, it all evens out, and you've rolled so badly for so long that it's inevitable
It ends now.
that this
it could be.
year.
So let's just say then I am in it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't think too much. I actually think Matt H will win the division. But
Me too.
so Matt R versus Peter, who do we think's winning that?
I'm taking Matt.
I think
I'm going to score too much too early for him.
I think I'm
He's
gonna,
not even going to get to the bullpen.
I think I'm gonna take Matt also. Sorry, Peter.
Well, I'm gonna pick
That's
Peter
fine.
just to make it fun.
2-2.
And then if Jeff faces me or Matt, I assume both of our teams are higher ranked than Jeff's team.
If they're playing me, I think Matt gets there, and I
Yeah.
think Matt beats me.
I
to
think
get to the World Series.
I think it's a Matt versus Matt World Series. in
So
my
I
opinion.
love my 1, 2, 3 in my order of my Ramirez, JD, Judge area. But Yelich, Machado, Harper, I think is the next best big 3, and that's you, Bob.
I mean, I hope I win the division. That'd be fantastic.
If we're going with the Cinderella story, then let's go Bob beating me, going to the World Series, and beating
AJ
Matt in the World
Series.
Series.
Yeah.
No.
The best.
Crush and Joey Gallo in the World Series with Chris Archer pitching game 7.
He's going the distance, too, because there's no one to support him.
Yes. The best thing is that
Oh, my God.
Matt H and Raleigh Fingers, so Mighty Muskie Minotaurs, or we could say M cubed, versus Raleigh Fingers, have played each other for the playoffs in every season of my league. They also play each other the last week of the division week, so they could be fighting for a division spot.
That'd be awesome.
Which has happened every year. This is the blog I wrote about Russell Martin hitting the walk-off home run with a solid 20.
One of the greatest things
yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was the craziest game I've ever watched. I had watched that game. They rolled it off, and then just recently they played again, and then they went to a game 3 because they were tied after going into the last week of the season, and Matt H beat him 2-1 in a 3-game series to win and go to the World Series. So, very tough division. I think I'm in again, except for Judgment Day's team. But I think it's a Matt H versus Matt R World Series. I mean, it'd be really fun to see myself in there. I sadly don't see anybody from the Ty Cobb division making the World Series.
All right, well, I'm beating Jeff in the finals.
Okay, so
Get ready, Jeff.
Peter thinks it's Thanos Snappers versus the Wolves. So I hope everyone that was listening had a great informative podcast review of the draft breakdown. Again, we're gonna find out really quickly how wrong we are with all these predictions, which I actually love being wrong. I think it's actually really fun to see how wrong I can be, or how all wrong we can be. So I'm very excited to see how this rolls out, and this league should end right around the end of the new year, and then by then, obviously, the 2019 cards will be available, so we'll be doing probably 2019 league, along with probably a bunch of 2018 blind draft drinking tournaments. I know we have one for a birthday party coming up. But yeah, thank you everyone.
Oh yeah,
for
I need to know. Oh, never mind.
Oh, I was saying we should probably invite Matt R. We could talk to Robert about a blind draft drinking tournament.
Oh yeah.
Robert would probably be cool with that.
I will always want to do it, and he will too.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Robert's turning 33, and he wants to have a showdown drinking tournament during the day at his house. Yeah, so blind draft like weekend, I think. I don't know. You might be working. We'll figure it all out later.
If you tell me ahead of time, I can get off.
Well, I'll ask Robert first. I don't want to invite random strangers over to his house as well. And Matt R is the sketchiest person I've ever met.
Yeah.
So.
You don't even know what I left your house with.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
I don't even know if you've left the house. Are you podcasting from within my house?
Dude,
Yeah,
I don't know
under
why
the
you were
crib.
taking that baby stuff.
Yeah.
In the house. That was really weird.
So any last words before we wrap this up?
Where's Peter's date?
Yeah, where's Peter's date?
It's not here yet.
Oh my god.
Said 8-ish.
bummer.
Actually, that would be very amazing if Peter ended up winning the whole World Series, and he could go to his date and be like, "Look, I was drafting while on a date, won the World Series, like just dusted you off your shoulders, like drop the mic."
That would be quite the feat for me.
Yes.
I'm happy to just be champion of the middle leagues.
There
that
you
was
go.
enough for me.
So is he still in it, Matt R, for your league?
Yep.
Oh,
he's
you could be
playing
champion
the
of both.
Rainiers.
Wow.
He could win both. I haven't played any of the. I think I'm going to start the playoffs Monday.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, this has been a great Bourbon Over Baseball podcast. Me and Peter, me and Jeff's bourbon is both gone, and Jeff's on his way right now to go play his game against the Funko Fanatics. So we'll find out shortly who is the winner there. So thank you everyone again, and have a great one.